Welcome to Garden Cafe. I'm Maureen, and this is my Texas Zone 8B 9A garden. We're at the last week of May, and we're at that very awkward time between spring and summer. Central Texas, it's a little bit different from the rest of the country in that we have about a minute of spring, and then we go into full-fledged triple-digit temps, blaring sun summers. Love our spring flowers. Now, a lot of what I put in here will be going through the summer. Several of them are spring, but you're definitely seeing the areas where I had more spring focused plants are ready to jump into summer. So I'm going to bring you in closer and show you some of the areas that I plan on working on here today to just basically bridge that gap. So I've got these Johnny Jump Ups, and these were definitely the beautiful show. Spring, total spring flower. I think the only reason why these two are still growing and still surviving and thriving is because for the most of the day, they are protected by these very large unintentional dahlias that are growing during the morning, and then in the afternoon, they're protected by the Rose of Sharon. But you can see over here, all of the Johnny Jump Ups have definitely died. Now, I did add some verbena and some Swari Kawai. Love the Swari Kawai. The purple one back here is a Texas wild verbena. It's very pretty. Grew in my daughter's backyard last year, and I just dug up a little clump of soil under one of them, stuck it in here. Did well last summer, and it's pretty. It can grow there all at once. Petunia, I don't know. It's on its way down. I think I'm going to cut this either way down or take it out completely. When I start digging in there, I will make that decision. And this area. So this whole area right here needs to have something happen. This is the front of my yard. It's my front swoop. It's what I see when I first drive up, and I want it to be gorgeous. First things first, we're going to clear out what we don't want. This is scarlet sage. I'm not sure how this got here. I'm okay with it staying here. But the Johnny Jump Ups have definitely seen better days, and they will come back. They drop seeds, and they will grow back. These Johnny Jump Ups, I think I planted a small pot of plants that I got from the store, and they just took off, and they come back every year, and they're so pretty. I love them. But they're definitely spring flowers, so I don't anticipate that these are going to last much longer either. But let's get this cleared out. All of you who are into gardening already know, and those of you who are going into gardening, you need to know this is not an inexpensive hobby. One way that you can greatly reduce your costs is start things from seed. Seeds are incredibly inexpensive. You can grow a whole bunch for very little cost. Yes, it takes patience. It's worth it. It is absolutely worth it in the end. Yeah, you can go to the store, get a pot of gorgeous flowers, come home, stick it in the soil, and go, oh, look. I get it, but that is an incredibly financially unsustainable hobby for most of us. So anyway, in here, these are all seeds started from seed. I have cherry bicolor profusion zinnias, and I have white profusion zinnias. Now these will grow anywhere from 14 to 18 inches high, which is about perfect for me because I want the upper level of this front swoop to be visible. So I want to keep everything down here to a lower profile so that is possible. Also, and I'm not sure, I'm going to leave this petunia here. I was going to rip it out, but it's got a lot of new growth down here. And I'm just thinking maybe if I plant other things around it, it'll give it some of the shade and the break from the sun that it needs so that it can grow. But creeping time, not sure how it's going to handle this area of sun, but my verbenas seem to do very well out here. Um, and I think with a little bit of shade from those verbenas, that might work. But we'll see. I've got several of these. My sister grew all of these from seed for me, brought them to me. So, woohoo, super duper savings. These will all die soon. Johnny jump ups do not like the temperatures we have here. This is a Gerbera daisy, still doing well, so I think that'll be okay. Swari Kawai just planted. They love the sun, so that will be beautiful here. And then another purple verbena. I love the verbenas. They seem to really enjoy the Texas heat out here. So, hey, more the better. Anyway, so I'm going to be planting these in. And just so you know, this front part is cement blocks that go back to here. So I have to find the holes inside the cement blocks for what I plant up front. Back here is all open. It's all really good soil. I will be adding a little bit of fertilizer in the hole, and then I'll water these in really well. Okay, pruned, planted, fertilized. I'm going to water it and then be patient. And in a few weeks, this is going to be a beautiful area again, the way it was with different flowers, though, than it was just a few weeks ago for the spring. Let me get to that. So that's it for this section. I have no doubt in a very short amount of time, this area will fill in and it will be beautiful. I probably should have gotten to this a week or two ago, but so much to do in the garden this time of year. And I need to get all of these profusion zinnias that my sister brought me and the creeping thyme out into the garden. And this is just one of the perfect locations, and I'll show you some of the others around the rest of the house. Side note, I've mentioned this in several previous videos. I dug up all my dahlia tubers from this lower level because it completely blocks the upper level. Dug them up, and the ones planted here were the burgundy with the darker center, which were beautiful, but just too tall. And then these guys grew in, and I have no idea where these came from. I know I didn't plant them. They're gorgeous, though. I'm not moving them this year, but I'm going to do an extra good job of going in the fall, late fall, and digging up any tubers under here that I possibly can find. Move them to the backyard because they are gorgeous. I love these, so just not here. And to show you what it's blocking on the other side, I wanted this to be what you saw on the upper level instead, with some lower profile plants down here on the lower level. Didn't work out very well. So here we are the next day. I got distracted. Seems to be a big problem with me. Came back to the backyard to continue planting. Saw some flowers that needed to be deadheaded. Ended up clipping flowers and bringing them inside to put in vases. One thing after another. And one thing I will show you at the end of this video is so cool. I definitely want to share it with you and get your opinion because I've never seen it before. But anyway, to continue, I was thinking of doing some of the profusion zinnias in here and maybe some of the creeping thyme in the front, because the petunias were just having a tough time surviving. I may still put a few in here, but this is actually starting to fill out pretty nicely. Um, we'll see. So I did, though, think that we can add some of those over on the other side of this crepe myrtle. I'll give you a closer look. In my garage is my plant zone. It's outdoor, basically shaded, but it gets super duper high heat. I also have my office in there, seeds. Basically, my garage is my garden planning zone, everything. So this is what I see when I first walk out in the morning. And not the prettiest you've ever seen. These petunias were doing fabulous. I think they just get pounded by way too much sun pretty much most of the day. This crepe myrtle will grow in. This will be in a more shaded zone. So I'm not giving up on them, but I don't know. They don't look real happy. Lisianthus, these were just planted. They seem to be nice. They're clearly, again, I think, unhappy with this brutal sun, although Lisianthus, for the most part, do enjoy sun. I did check. The ground is absolutely moist. They definitely have enough water. Back there, planted a hollyhock last week. Hasn't decided whether it's going to survive or not. And then several dahlias that I had extra tubers, and we put them back. A few of them are seed dahlias my sister brought from Houston that she actually started. These pots over here, this is just a kalanchoe cutting I stuck in the soil. It's growing fine. It's going to go to the shade garden the other side of the yard. These are snapdragons, and the one back there is another experiment I'll go into another time, not showing any real success. But anyway, so this zone I think is perfect for a few of the profusion zinnias and even some creeping thyme along here, so that if these petunias do come back, they'll be beautiful, but if they don't, I have something growing in this section. So the rest of this is going to be on fast forward. Literally, folks, we have another week and a half of May, and it might as well be the dead of summer. It is so flippin' hot. So, what I wanted to show you, what I mentioned earlier, my son bought me these just absolutely gorgeous long-stemmed roses for Mother's Day, and I'll put a picture here of those. So, about now is when they start looking very unhappy, but there were a few that looked pretty. So, I started taking them out of the vase that I had them growing in and cutting them back and putting the ones that still looked like they had quite a bit of life left in them in bud vases. But I noticed on several of the stems, and I'll give you a close up, there was actual growth. Literally, look at that. Off of the stems that were in the vase. Now, these were cut flowers that he sent me. They must have been super fresh. But these roses are actually growing, and I put the white roses, there were two that were showing growth, and of the the pink and white roses, the combination one, there were three. So very excited, came out, did a fresh cut on the bottom, cut off the dying rose on top, just above the highest growth point, and put them in this good soil. We'll see. I mean, literally has no roots, so I have no idea, but I have never seen this before. Cut roses, literally in a vase, actually showing life after they pretty much were dying. If anyone's seen this before, let me know. Am I just being like pie in the sky, thinking these might actually grow roots and I might end up with some gorgeous rose bushes? I have no idea, but I've just never seen it before. And to go along with It's All an Experiment, the YouTube channel I have here, um, we'll see. I mean, it's give it a try. I'll give you updates this in future videos. I have several more of the profusion zinnias and the creeping thyme to go out in the rest of the yard, but I have the unenviable task of fertilizing everything today. It takes a long time, and the day is not getting any cooler. So I'm going to switch over and do that. But this is basically the same process. What I did in the front swoop, what I did over here is exactly the same thing I'm going to do. Dig a hole, put the fertilizer in, plant the plant, water it in, and hopefully watch it thrive. Um, my June walkthrough, garden walkthrough, is just about a week and a half away. And I'm really kind of hoping, I mean, obviously, I don't expect a big explosion of flowers, but I'm hoping you get to see how some of this is getting filled in. Fingers crossed. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please hit subscribe, like, or share. It really helps me to grow my channel. Have a wonderful day.